Hello everyone. I did plan on taking this down before I hit record, but here we go. We're hitting record. I don't know about you, but I've been living in ponytail hair because it's just easier for my masks because I use the tie-on masks. Wow. And my ears my ears just aren't as strong, I guess, as other people's. It's probably because of the frostbite incident in high school. My ears were pretty funky looking for the longest time. And when I say longest time, I mean 2 decades. They've just reached the point where they look like normal human ears rather than their warped little mutilated cartilage that they were. So anyway, yeah, I've been living in ponytails. And so people joke about, looking forward to taking off their bra or their mask. I look forward to taking my hair down. So yeah. Okay, I've got myself calming tea today. And woo! Careful, hang on. All right, we almost had a catastrophe there. All right, tell me in a minute. Hop back over there. It's all right. Go watch. So, let's do this. Clara would like everyone to know that one of the bird babies is back. Don't know if it really is the same bird baby. Because she's smaller. I just saw her. She's not as long as either of the bird babies from last year or Mama. Mama was much, much bigger. This is a little mourning dove. She's petite. But I saw her. She was tucked in around the corner when I came home. Saw her from a distance this morning because she was running out from under my car when I opened the door. Did not like the morning weather. Poor little bird did this hop leg shake thing. Oh, when I'm mentioning weather, it's snowing. It is April 20 something and it is snowing. This morning I woke up to, I'm going to say 2 inches of the dense wet stuff. Not fluffy, nice stuff, dense stuff. Not so much worried about, me or any of that, but the trees. Western New York, well, most of New York has a lot of fruit trees. I think they're fine up by the lake, but through the whole Finger Lakes region with the amount of snow that came down and the weight of the snow, I'm worried about what that's doing to the pretty flowers that become the fruit. So we shall see. So, Miss Clara, you're about to step on my project, I see. There's some kitty butt. Hop down, please, so I can talk to the peoples. All right, a couple updates. I finally feel like I'm making progress on my pocket. There's that much. Now that I have 2 colors, I feel like I'm making a little bit of progress. And I'm only doing this sporadically. The green is much thicker. Okay, so here's the thing. I thought I bought pearl. It turns out I bought multi-strand. Didn't realize I bought multi-strand because the strands were so tightly twisted together. Finally figured out I bought multi-strand. It could be that I was very stressed when I started working with the green, and I was also working in low light and yada yada yada. So anyway, plucking away. Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna have this done before the March-April pocket challenge is over, but I will still keep working on it. I hope others keep working on theirs if they didn't finish. Of course, I have the second one with the birds to do as well. All right, so that's the pocket challenge, which technically is up at the end of the month, but of course, like I said, keep on sewing, keep on sharing. They're supposed to be very casual, open-ended. And I'm realizing I should probably tuck this back here because she's going to want to hop back up in a minute. All right. So the next thing I thought I'd talk about is turn this kind of like into a fact section session. So frequently asked questions. Let me close the bright light because I've had some comments on the bright light. So there, no more bright light. So frequently asked questions, FYI for the millinery stuff mostly, things like that. So I have my little notes. Actually taking this from the Millinery 2021 post, so I want to make sure I get like all my details. Okay, so one of the first questions I get is, where do you get my bonnets? All of my millinery goes over to my Etsy shop. Yes, I am an Etsy seller. I do like the ease that it allows me. So everything's over in Etsy. I think it's a really easy platform. I hope you enjoy it. Custom orders. That's the next most frequent question. Okay, so this is a tough one. I really want to be able to take custom orders. The problem is during the school year, I do not know what my timeline is going to look like. Especially this year, last year, this year, I may be able to get in 30, 40 hours of sewing extra in a week after, the school day. I may be able to get in 3. And I don't always know from week to week what that's going to look like. So I basically say no to individual custom orders during the school year. That just keeps me from basically getting myself in over my head. I think I'll get all the things done, but I get really stressed if I have like lots and lots and lots of things to do. That doesn't mean don't send me a message if you're looking for a particular kind. If you're looking for like a dome shape and I've been doing a lot of tapered crowns, let me know, because that says, okay, time to do some dome shapes. Or time to do some Regency pieces, that sort of thing. So that's okay. Just keep in mind, like, the whole traditional custom order thing. I don't like the timelines. It makes me nuts. And when I get nuts, I mess up the pieces. And now I'm irritated with myself for using that word, because I'm going to be trying to use less of those words. A friend pointed out the negative impact that can have on self and others. So my apologies. I'm not going to delete that. Because it's important for me to share that I'm trying not to use those words. All right. Where? How? Pieces do go quickly off the Etsy shop. I probably should have mentioned that. Depending on the time of the year, they might be up for a couple days. They might only be up for a couple minutes. The best place to have advance notice of a piece coming, not advance, is prompt notice of a new piece, is to subscribe to the blog. What do you want? Okay. If you subscribe to the blog, which I think would be like over there-ish, then you'll get an email or a notification that there's a new post, and some of those posts are new millinery. But be aware, it'll be all the posts that you got. I also post them in my Facebook's millinery page, and then I try to post them on different Facebook groups as well. But really, the blog's where you want to find them in order to have an email. I'm not aware of a system that Etsy has for that. What, Clara? Yeah? Looking for the bird, baby. All right. Sizes. Okay. I get a lot of people that feel like they have big heads, and I feel bad when people feel like they have big heads, especially when they don't really have big heads. And they also feel very apologetic when they tell me they have a big head. So stop feeling bad about thinking you have a big head. You may or may not have a big head, and even if you do have a big head, there's nothing wrong with having a big head. That said, yes, I tend to make smaller hats for 2 reasons. 1, I have a smaller head. 2, most of my blocks are smaller. Most of the remaining blocks are smaller. I don't know why. There are theories, but that's the whys of why I tend to make smaller pieces. I do try to make bigger pieces. I try to note when they're bigger pieces. In order to measure, don't measure here. Okay, that's more for like a modern hat. Don't measure here. I want you to measure up much higher, like your hairline. My hairline has creeped back a wee bit with those darn ponytails. But measure high, because your hat is going to sit much higher than what we're used to as a modern hat. One of these days I should get out a modern hat and a period hat and really show as a comparison of where they sit. It does take a lot of getting used to. If you tend to wear a lot of modern hats, the feel of a period hat is going to be different, just so you're ready. And I like to, if I decorate, I have the ties that are meant to tie behind your head, under your hair. You can also pin that in place. That'll help you feel a little more secure about the height of where your hat sits. And there are directions for where to measure. I will add that link to the blog post. Hey, if I get on top of things, I'll add it to the YouTube post too. I'm working on those details. Really, I am. Let's see. About the pieces that I make. Everything I do is hand sewn. I work with straw plait or braid. It's braided, plaited straw, wheat, rye primarily. There are other materials out there, but I do prefer to work with the wheat and the rye. I like the feel. I like the durability. I love the smell. I find the smell so calming. In terms of durability, I can actually tell you that one of my hats went airborne on a ship once, went overboard, landed in the ocean. They were able to retrieve it, and it was okay. So there is that advantage of having straw. I can't say that I have the confidence that all materials would do that. Occasionally, I dabble with some woven pieces. It's not my forte. I have yet to offer those for sale. If I get good at it, maybe I will. There's some fun things that I can do with that, since I have several blocks to work with as well. But for right now, it's straw braid, straw plait that I work with. In terms of eras, I do primarily do 19th century through, but not quite all the way to the end of the century, because I love doing 70s, 80s, 90s pieces. The shapes are so much fun. But that is when the straw machine came into use. So the hand sewing starts to fade out. You can still find originals that are hand sewn, but just not as often. So I don't spend as much time there. And then I really fizzle out as you get through the turn of the century and hats start getting big. There's just no economical way for me to hand sew some of those huge hats. Because they're pretty straightforward in their shaping and the sizing. Now there are other huge hats, well, huge bonnets, when you're looking at like, 1820s, 1830s, they're big. But there's a lot of curves. So that's a whole nother thing. I will go earlier. I don't do it a lot. If there's a shape you're looking for, let me know. Because I love to try something different, a little something newer. I just haven't really like sunk my feet into that market because I don't know as many people there. But I would love to. I'd love to see how early I can get. And I know at some point that'll require some different straw. I do have a very coarse straw plate that's good for certain impressions, certain types of hats or bonnets. While it is wider and technically would seem to take less time, it is a very tough straw to deal with, simultaneously to bend and sew through, and also it wears on the hands skin-wise. So I don't work with that often, but that is a material that's out there. Oh, colors. So I do use natural, and then the colors that I can support with documentation, that I can find some representation of, but of course that is also simultaneously limited to what I can buy or what I can have made for me, because I have had a couple colors dyed for me over the years. Where'd my, uh-oh, there we go. Thought I lost my tab. I do work with original blocks. I have a collection of plaster bonnet blocks and hat blocks. I have an assortment of antique wood blocks. I have one wood bonnet block. And then I do have some reproduction ones that I've been attempting to make, and then I have a woodworker that's carved me a few. Pricing. All the pricing will be up on Etsy. I try my best to keep it affordable. With the things of the last year or so and prices changing, I think I need to change some prices. At the same time, I really don't want to, because I don't want to raise it too high and out of reach for some folks. Having been low income through the vast majority of my living history experience, I'm very aware of how much things cost. So I want people to be able to afford what I make. At the same time, I need to be able to pay the rent. So I really struggle with that. Let's see, custom orders. Winter millinery. I still try to do winter millinery. I used to keep my seasons better. Like, I would force myself to stop sewing straw. Would go back to school. I'd take a little break, focus on ag fair, and then I would start sewing winter pieces. I could demo them at a couple of events. I could really focus on them and sell them through January. Well, last few years, that hasn't happened. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I've pretty much sewn straw straight through. But I do make them. I do have the patterns that are currently up in my shop, and I am working on more. The next pattern is, well, it's more than just a pattern. It kind of kept growing, so it's a little bit of a manual. So yeah, there are those. Oh, new frequently asked question. Well, occasionally asked question. My witch hats. So I started making modern whimsical witch hats, and they were just for fun. But I have since had people ask about those. I think we might see those appear. Working on a couple different designs, all sewn. So far they've all been wool or wool blends. And each one's a little bit different. There's some applique, there's some patchwork, there's some needle felting. I don't know if I'm going to do the needle felting again. That might just be mine. So those might make it into the Etsy shop seasonally. Seasonally? Eventually? Hey, don't knock over my tea. Okay, so that might be Clara saying she wants a hat. Or you just want attention? Yeah? All right. Okay, so there's those. Let's see. I think next on my list was, where all can you find me? If you're listening to this, you have either found me on YouTube, or you have found me on one of my blogs. So my historical blog is If I Had My Own Blue Box. If you put in a Milliner's Whimsy, that will bring you to that as well. The YouTube page is also If I Had My Own Blue Box. I have a modern blog for all the modern crafty things and the doll things. That is Don't Paint the Cat. There's an interesting story behind that on the blog. Of course, you can find me on my Etsy shop, currently under my full name, or under Milliner's Whimsy. I believe both will bring it up. What else? Patreon. We're over on Patreon, and that is a Milliner's Whimsy. I'm realizing I'm not doing the best job in promoting my Patreon. It is there. I would love more people to support me there. I still feel people need to have access to the vast majority of things for free. Is that how I want to say that? I love giving things away for free. So I love posting, I love sharing, I love giving little projects on the blog. So if you want to use Patreon as a way of sending me a little thank you here or there, that would be great. I've got a lower level Patreon membership, sponsorship, I don't know how they're phrased, over there. And then my thank you for those over there is you get to see the in detail publications in advance. Those go up on Etsy. I think I've put some over there that aren't even on Etsy. Hey, don't steal the kitties. What am I missing? What are you doing? She's like headbutting the chair. Clara Rose, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? Are you being weird? You're totally being weird. Is it an ear thing? Do we have to clean those ears? Yeah? Alright, so I'm a little weird. I'm obsessive about my cat's ears. I don't know why. It might be because Mom was obsessive about our ears. Okay, she's definitely wanting attention. And the tail is knocking over the cats and everything else. So I think that's going to end today's Millinery, etc. FAQ, Whimsy Wednesday. Thank you all for listening. I hope there was plenty of cattertainment for you. I'll see if I can get some pictures of the bird baby outside. Gosh, am I getting Luvins? Am I getting Luvins? Yeah? I hope you can see your face. All right. I will see you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend.